Welcome back to All Stars, and we are building to the 2023 edition of the UK Charity All Stars weekend. It is in the Vindico Arena in Cardiff, July 29th and 30th, Saturday and a Sunday. Fantastic weekend in progress. And we're talking today with one of the architects, you could say. It's basically partly his fault the last 15 years. It's Gareth Hubback.
Don't forget the Friday night in the arena as well. Race night, charity race night, hosting the meet and greet. First chance for everyone to get together. Over for you, Coca-Colas, Diet Pepsis, Cherry Coke, Dr. Peppers.
Everything, yes.
And maybe a sherbet or two.
Thank you for putting me right straight away as we talk, Gareth. Thanks for jumping on and talking all things All Stars.
My pleasure.
So as we said, the 15 years, it doesn't seem 15 years. Do you want to take us back to the idea and how it kind of came about?
Yeah, at that point, I think I had hair color. Didn't look like I was a Santa in waiting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the All Stars actually comes out with something pre All Stars, as all ideas and events do. And I'm not sure you're probably aware of the Hockey Forum.
Yep.
Which has been a major resource, especially at that time. They used to host a summer gathering of forum users at Alton Towers every summer. So people from all around the country used to go to Alton Towers, meet up, hook up in the summer because there was no hockey. That happened for I think it was about 3, possibly 4 years, and then they decided to have a charity game up in the wonderful arena in Hull, the mecca of ice hockey up north. So
the most versatile arena.
That's the one. I knew it was something.
Yeah.
I knew it had a funny name. Best chip sauce. Chip sauce. I can't speak today.
Chip spice. Yeah, it's
that's the one.
Only exists in Hull.
Yeah, absolutely best in the country then. So they did a couple. I went to THF 3, I believe it was. Went up there with Dave Newton, kipper from Cardiff. Didn't know what to expect, and it was just exactly what their Alton Towers was just people from around the country. There was about 35, 40 players, I believe it was. Met and had a hockey game up in Hull. I believe I ended up on the Saturday night in the DJ booth in a pub dressed as a parrot. And then there were many other people dressed as cowboys, Indians, and so forth. There was some hockey royalty, the likes of Alan Armour was up there, as well as like your normal everyday forum users. Bumped into this gentleman, let's call him David Grant from Sheffield.
Well, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, it's turns out that he had a Cardiff connection, a South Wales connection. So even though he was a Sheffield fan, he had strong Welsh heritage. So got yapping to him. He seemed all right, nice, decent enough bloke. And that was it. On to next year, as they say in the hockey forum. Just in case anyone is wondering what I'm talking about next year, I'm not talking about anything other than what happened then back in Hull.
Yeah.
So
do we need our legal team to look at this?
Yeah, absolutely. So during then, like the hockey season, there was a talk of, oh, when's the next hockey forum event? Oh yeah, it's going to be on, definitely. Yeah, no, it's going to be up in Hull. And then about a couple of months out, it was announced that it wasn't going to take place. So we're like, ooh. And the people who are running then, lovely people, like most of the people in the ice hockey world are. A lot of people who want to do good for good charities. It was just a little bit, they had issues apparently with getting registration agreements, officials, and that sort of stuff. And everyone's got a day job. So it was like, a few people were saying, "Oh, that's a shame. We'd really love to do it. If we can put it on, maybe people will be interested." But no one was stepping up to the plate, and it's sort of like quieting down. So one evening, I was in the washing receptacle, the bath with remember the Sesame Street years ago, Bert and Ernie. There was a famous song called Rubber Ducky, and I was just singing it in the rink around the time, and a couple of people bought me some rubber ducks. So I'm in the bath with rubber ducks, and just had this little bit of, well, actually, I remember Dave's got quite a few contacts in the fan side of the hockey world. I've got contacts in the administration from what I used to do with hockey up to that point. So we might be able to get an arena. I should be able to sort out officials, insurance, and all that sort of stuff. I should be able to get abroad. What we need is players. Who's the best person I can go to go and go, you're on every single forum in the UK. You know a lot of the players who played last year. You were the party catalyst. You were Mr. Fun. I'm the quiet one in the little corner. Get the mobile phone out from the bedroom, pop back in the bath. Dave. Yes, who's this? Hubs. Got an idea. And it went from there.
Yeah.
So it's quite funny this year. We've there's a sponsor partner jumped on board, Trade Price Bathrooms in Cardiff, to offer a raffle for a bathroom suite, when the actual whole thing 15 years ago started from a phone call in the bath. It's quite a rounding of a journey. So yeah, that's how it started, and that was up in Sheffield. Then we went to Basingstoke, Cardiff, and then it's been pretty much Cardiff or Sheffield since. Cardiff for the last 3, just because of some easier logistics. But we are completely aware that it's a UK thing. So, oh, I almost tripped myself up there. Maybe if it stays around, the Big Bash, the BHF Big Bash, you might see more of those in the future, and not only just the one big weekend, whether it be in Cardiff or Sheffield, whoever will host us.
I mean, it's like you say that. I mean, I did one of the THF ones as well. I was one of the coaches at when they had a tournament. I think they did a 4-team in one of the years in Hull, and I was one of the coaches. Just and like you say, it was a great summer thing. And then when the first UK at the time, because it kind of followed the forum, so it was the forum All Stars to start with.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
For your first couple,
Yeah.
and let's say that. I mean, it's a stupid question, but when you started in 2008, did you have it? How it would turn out in, well, would it still be going 15 years later, and would it be as big and successful as it is?
1 year.
Yeah.
That's all we planned on, was 1 year, to get it done in that summer, because people wanted one that summer. So the original plan was just to do that year, to make that done, and then maybe other people would jump back on board with either the Hockey Forum one, because obviously we didn't want to step on any toes that way. But then everyone said, let's do it again the following year. So we did, with another 2 teams, and ever since then it's been a bit of a juggernaut, I guess is the best way. The changing of the name was a conscious decision. You're absolutely right. It was called the UK Hockey Forum All Stars at the beginning, which is very long to buy the main name for, first and foremost. But not everyone is on forums. Forums were massive at the time, and then obviously things like Twitter, Instagram, and all that have taken over. But it's not. We don't want to exclude. We never ever wanted to exclude anyone. So we had to say, oh, we heard before after about year 3, oh, you can only play if you're a member of a forum. No, the forum was just good for us at the beginning to get messages around to see who could and wanted to play. The conscious decision was to just go to the UK Charity All Stars, is the fact that anyone can actually play. Everyone is an all-star. Yes, we've had people like Ian Cooper, Steve Moria plays, still Archie Nelson, another ex Cardiff Devil, and some other ranked players. We had the Pro Star game as well. But in our opinion, anyone who is willing enough to raise fundraising and raise awareness for the charities and do good for other people, they're an all-star. As simple as that. And we just represent the hockey community as a whole, regardless of everything. So that's why the forum name, or a bit of background, that's why the forum name was dropped.
Yeah. How over the time then, has it like, oh, just one more year, and now it's 15 years later. How has All Stars changed? Has the ethos changed or grown, or is it still people from the hockey world coming together for the weekend to raise a bit of money?
Absolutely. The ethos is never changed. We've never been about a set of rules. We've never been about a set of a rigid set. Yes, we have a minimum fundraising target that has changed over the years, but that's just to make sure that charities get supported, and there's a little bit of a focus. But even then, we say a time, but say, for example, player A can't raise it by the deadline, but they've got an event a week after, then we don't exclude them for that, as long as they're communicating. Ethos has always been everyone's in it together, everyone supports as much as each other. The captains support the captains, the players support the players. We're supporting the charities, our partners are supporting us. It's just, family is a very Sheffield thing, but it is. There's no other way of really describing it fairly. And in any family, you have obviously ups and downs. You have people who leave a family or come back to a family and all that sort of stuff. It's no different than anything like that. But at the end of the day, the ethos of the event is raising awareness for charities, people being able to come together in the summer, people to be able to forge friendships, make new friendships, people to have stories to tell. Go back to Sean Phillips, back in Cardiff, who was, when he was young, had cancer, managed to beat cancer, and he played in the Devils Community Foundation team, and he scored the tournament winning goal. That's stuff of Disney. That's a story. There's been plenty of other stories like that. Mia Thorne told she can never go on the ice, goes and takes a penalty shot to open the tournament a couple of years ago. With, I can't remember, I think every single player was on the ice clapping her down the ice, and now she's gone on to winning Great Britain figure skating medals and stuff like that. And that just came from Sam Motton training her at the very beginning. Again, it's another story. It's not who wins the actual tournament per se. It's not who raises the most money. It's, have we done good by people? Have we done good by charities? Have we supported? Have we raised awareness? And then, I guess, have we made a difference? And I don't know how you measure that. I know we're coming up to a milestone in monetary value, but there's other values that I think often get overlooked. And one day we'll be, I don't know, be able to sit back and be proud of them. It's very difficult to do that when you're in the choky. It's very difficult to do that when you're in the middle of it. And I just hope people realize that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. The thing that's noticeably changed, obviously, since year one, you kind of raised the money, sent the money off, and that was kind of job done. Whereas now the charities and the teams are a lot more hand in hand, and there's a lot more direct contact, and you're not just kind of giving them a pot of money and that's the end of it. They're kind of working together, and it become, like you say, it's much more than just raising money. It's the whole awareness and publicity and giving the charities a voice.
Absolutely, and it's the reason we do the fundraising the way we do it. We're not a registered charity ourselves as an event. All the charities or the people raising money raise it via Just Giving. so we know all the money is going direct to the charities, which is just the perfect way to do it. It's full clarity there for people to see that the money being raised by the players, and it's obviously all there on Just Giving. Then it's like the Barbarians this year. They're two charities. The one I'm playing for, Big Moose, is a mental health charity, and there's another one Paul Wright's playing for, To Wish. Now we talked about we had a meeting with both of them because we wanted to do a fundraising thing, which is actually being put off to, almost got caught again, but it's not happening this year. It's just been postponed for a few months, which is a sit-in challenge in the Principality Stadium.
Yeah.
But that meeting was born from the All Stars from last year in the Charts meeting, and now those two charities are working closely together just because they met through the actual event. And you say we have the bar with all the charities upstairs, so people can talk to people, network. People can come and see what they're doing. If people can recommend a charity to us as well, because that's the other thing we've always done. Every charity which is in the All Stars pre the Barbarians has always been chosen on the basis of a player coming to us and to say, this has affected me. I hear we're adding charities next year because obviously we went from a day to 2 days. And then we went from 2 teams down to mini teams into the smaller time little round robin stuff. Any chance you can support that charity?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the seed of the Barbarians idea came from then, just to grow out on that.
The charities, like you say, they've grown and developed. There was a time you had wherever the event was, you had a charity local to them. So I remember one year in Sheffield, it was the Sheffield Children's Hospital. Back down in Cardiff, it was the Wales Air Ambulance.
Yeah.
And now we've kind of settled on you've got the 7 plus the Barbarians, which is I think this year when I was talking to their captain, it's another, I think it's 14 different charities this year.
That's right. It's another 14 different charities in that one, and I think somewhere along we must have supported 35 plus charities over the year. Over the years, all of them rightly so. And the Barbarians was that way of actually for us increasing that, because there was feedback from players who might say got selected for, say, Sheffield Children's Hospital up in Sheffield, but they might have been from Cardiff, for example.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome charity, but we find it a little bit hard when we're in Cardiff to raise money for something up in Sheffield. So, and that's where the Barbarians came in, because it's right. Okay, what can we do about this? Right, let's have a team similar to I looked at the Barbarians rugby team, and like, okay, they wear the different color socks, and that's because they've got from a different club. Well, there it is. That's the idea. It's the Barbarians. We can have one shirt, and then this year the logos will be for the charities going to go on the shoulders, and every person in that team then will be fundraising for a charity outside the main charities, but for something which is close and personal to them.
Yeah.
And I think just by doing that and allowing players to do that as well, I think that helps people understand, going back to like the ethos of the event, because again, that's what it's about. We're here to help people help others, and it was just the best way we thought of expanding the event out without having to go above the number of players, because we just couldn't. It's just impossible. It's at the number it can be for number of players in the event, but how can we make best use of our event to be a positive?
Yeah. And the Barbarians had a part of Barbells last year. We'll talk about the jerseys in a minute, but the Barbarians jersey this year, which is being beautifully modelled at the moment, is I mean, they're all fantastic. I was talking to people from Crosscheck as well about how they come up with them, but the jerseys are all fantastic. But the Barbars one, being that the black is simple, but the runes, and then like you say, the charity patches on the shoulders, and it's just, to me, I've always liked whatever teams I've been following, I've always liked the dark black,
Yeah.
whatever it is, jerseys. And the Barbarians one for me is just perfect.
If I was going to be on a team, they would always be wearing black jerseys because I'm exactly the same as you. Love them. And there's even stories about the rooms as well. Each one of these is chosen for a specific reason. Um, so we looked at them, myself and Dave. We went through quite a lot and sort of what's the team, what's the event about, and things like courage. There's mental health. There's one about this. I'll let Dave. I'll let people come and speak and come up to us and ask about the jerseys, and we'll tell them the story
Yeah.
behind the ball. Did Pete tell you about the messages in the neck?
No, I didn't get onto the neck. We were
Right.
just talking about the.
Sorry for the strip. So each team have got a motto. So normally the cross-check motto is normally in the neck, but each team this year have got their own motto.
Yeah.
And they're actually stitched, or they're actually put into the. I'm doing this the wrong way. Bear with us.
Yeah.
I will never work on game shows. So the Barbarians message is leaving the world better than we found it.
Yeah.
And every team has got their own separate motto, and that's all in the neck of each jersey as well. And that was a Pete and Ryan suggestion. And as you say, they've not only have they've done a fantastic job on the jerseys for the last couple of years. This year's they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
We've moved away from that uniformed approach across and allowed each team to actually have their own identity, I guess, for the want of a better word.
Yeah.
Everyone's bought into it, and they brought that little extra detail to the table, and it's absolutely spot on.
Yeah. Because all of the charities have got their own color scheme, but the way
Yeah,
they've kind of interpreted the colors and like you say, the tie dye one of Dreams Come True, and the
yeah,
one
get your sunglasses.
again, the one that I like is the T Haven gone with the dark with the bright green patches. The one I asked Pete about was Mind versus prostate cancer, because they're both blue, and how they kind of play the two off against each other. So
As we told the officials, it's only 18 minutes of a game. The Blues are different. Their shorts are different. And the gradients are different. There's more than that. It won't be an issue. It's always entertaining when two teams play. I actually did a Super League game when two teams came and exactly the same color scheme. The only difference they actually had with their socks, and they didn't have a spare set of a different color in the arena. So we did a Super League game with two, spoken enough, in black. One with black socks, one with white socks. That was fun.
yeah, good for the officials. Keep them on their toes as well.
Absolutely.
If we fast forward into this year, it's the second year back after the thing that stopped us doing stuff for 2 years. Last year obviously came back with a. I'm saying it came back with a bang. It was still kind of getting used to being back out and getting back into circulation. So this year it's kind of moving forward again. More, I was going to say normal, but can have All Stars and normal in the same sentence? I don't know. But the next stage of whatever normal is.
Absolutely. I think we were very aware last year that even last year things weren't fully back to normal.
Yeah.
So the Friday nights, which is normally a big welcome party, and it's normally an auction and all that sort of stuff, we thought we'll just leave that as allow people just to come to the arena, drop their kit off, have a couple of drinks they wanted to stay. The charities still had their stalls and all that sort of stuff, so that just ran like normal. We were fully aware that people might be nervous entering the building and things like that, being around in crowds and stuff. So we didn't really put huge emphasis into like the Saturday night party, shall we say. So we did book a venue, but some teams decided to do things by themselves on the Saturday night, and then obviously the usual suspects always meet up in Potworld at 4 o'clock in the morning. So We
All
were
Stars
also
is and All
aware.
Stars does. Yeah.
Yeah, the photos of the usual falling asleep on sofas will happen again, no doubt. So we were also aware that obviously last year was 2 years of fundraising. It was very difficult fundraising during that period of time. It was very difficult for people to do side events, which is something which has grown massively, and really I think is at the heart of the weekend now. Is that the All Stars no longer is just a weekend at the end of the people doing their individual fundraising. There's now a lot more. I've done 4 quizzes in Penarth Athletic Club for the different charities, just because they've asked, and it's the venue I know, and everyone has come to those.
Mm-hmm.
You've had the Big Bash. You see everyone else doing like quizzes and all that sort of stuff. Yes, before we've obviously had people drive tuk-tuks around Europe. We've had people climb mountains in hockey kit and stuff like that, but they've been tends to be uh, not one-offs, but now they seem to be that now people seem to understand like the fundraising. As soon as you get in, it really starts from that point, and people are getting together from that point. They're arranging much more things like that, so they're spreading, I guess, what's the best word for it, the advocacy of the charity they're playing for
Yeah.
starts now a lot earlier, so which is absolutely awesome for the charities involved, because now they're getting support now right from when people get selected right through to the end of the weekend, and then moving on forward, because I know of people who now got been played for a charity now get involved in volunteering for some of the charities as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so yes, COVID can break a lot of things, but I also can see the positives that have come out from that, and it's actually probably helped us remind us of, again, going back all the way back to the beginning, the ethos of the event. And I actually think personally, I may be wrong, normally am, it's actually helped, helped in a way. So yes, we've got the Friday night back. Yes, we've got Proud Mary booked now for the Saturday night, and hopefully more people will come to that, and more people will feel things are more back to normal. So you might see there's never been a non-traditional All Stars. There's always been that fun element there, but I think this I got a feeling this July could be pretty special.
Yeah. Just a kind of a final couple. You kind of touched on it at the beginning, but it's a kind of a tweet question. But what is an all-star to you? I mean, what makes an all-star?
It's a really hard question to answer, to be honest with you. It's I'm going to throw it back at you, Craig. You're now an all-star. You're now part of the family. From my point of view, it's hard for me to answer because of, I guess, the idea came from ourselves and stuff. So I find it very difficult to answer that honestly, because I don't know. It's just something that I've done. Dave will say exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just something which is I don't. It's hard to explain. It's just us. And when we see people like yourselves come and want to join and help out, we just know. You just know that it's their right, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I guess the best person to answer that is yourself. So why did you?
It was summer hockey, and it was um good people, and it was a good cause.
And I think that at the heart of it is exactly it. Is we have people within the organisation, or not the we have people within the All Stars, players, helpers, volunteers, and that's basically what is something key to their personality. Is key to them as a person, and I think that's what All Stars it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like-minded people getting together in the summer after fundraising advocacy for their charities and just wanting to be a positive in the community, and we just use hockey as our vehicle to do it.
Yeah. No, I say anybody who's pulled a shirt on, stepped on the ice, bought a ticket, sold a ticket,
Yeah.
worked the gate, came to everybody who's been to Sheffield 2008 through to Cardiff this year. If you've done anything, to me, you've chipped in a quid here and there. You're an all-star. Anybody can be,
Any
and anybody
sponsor,
is an all-star.
any sponsor who's sponsored, anyone who's taken a plank of wood over their head and then joined the committee the year afterwards. Sorry, Gareth, it was my fault. But it's just the right people. It's really hard to explain. It just is.
Yeah. And
so long-winded answer, and it's
yeah.
like philosophical.
Very, yeah. At this time on an evening, why not?
Exactly.
And there's no red wine either. I'm just checking. No.
I'm living on the edge and gone with the Copperberg cherry.
The question, and one of the questions we've asked the captains when we did the captain calls, if you were to have somebody who was kind of sitting on the edge of coming to All Stars along the weekend, the last weekend in July, what would you say to persuade them? Obviously, we've talked about what an All Star is, but what would you say to somebody who was kind of thinking about coming down to persuade them to take that leap to come down to Vindico Arena over the weekend of the 28th to the 30th of July, Friday to Sunday?
Bring sunglasses.
Yeah. That's the tie-dye. That's smart.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole logo, it looks better in the flesh with better lighting. But yeah, it's come join, come see what all the fun is about. Come on the Friday night, come Saturday, come to Proud Mary, drop any of us an email. Even if you can't come in, there's a cause there. We're going to do something this year. I think they do it in test matches where they have like the Ruth Strauss Day, where if you want to donate, the new website should be live at the end of the week, and you can buy a ticket for the event for any charity you choose, and the money will go to the charity. So even if you can't come down because you might be on holiday or in Dubai or living down under or something along those lines, you can still support from that way. But if you can come down, it'd be absolutely lovely to see you and come and speak to us if you want to get involved. And there's a new section on the website which will hopefully answer some questions, but I don't think you will regret that decision to come down and see what it's all about.
Yeah, no, 100%. I say we talked to the captains, talked to a few other people involved. It is one of the first things you put on your calendar at the end of the season. You know, to come in. And I said after talking to the captains, I can't wait for the weekend itself to get back down there.
And we can't wait to see you, Craig, because it's always an honour and a pleasure to have you. The dulcet tones and the dulcet tunes over the speakers, and what you do for us on a weekend can't be underestimated as well. The hours you put in preparing beforehand and actually on the weekend, just to make sure that people, when they come down, to have a good time and leave with a song in their head and stuff like that. So on our behalf, thank you as well.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So once you're in, I've said again, if you were the captains, once you're in, All Stars doesn't let you go.
No, and even if you could be something like Chris Edwards from T Haven, who's tried to go a few times, he's tried to retire a couple of times, and I bet you £10 charity bet, Chris Edwards will play at least 2 shifts. If he does, I will double that to 20 for a charity of your choice, because that's what it does to people. But we've had the skate of honours off for people and stuff like that, but they've come back and bench coach. They've come back in other roles and stuff like that. So yeah, it's exactly that.
Excellent. Well, it's been good catching up on shall we say, the first 15 years of All Stars.
I'm not going to get tricked into that the way my legal team are on it.
And no, it's been great catching up, Hubs. And I say looking forward to seeing all of the guys and girls in Cardiff at the end of July. And no doubt we'll speak again before then.
Happy days. Cheers, Greg.